welcome to the Michaud Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast. Every black film ever made. My name is Len, aka the Bat Tribble. And as always, I am joined by my partner.
Hey, what's going on? It's Vincent Williams.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the year of 1975. Is that correct?
That is indeed correct.
Yes. And we are on everybody's favorite day of the week, Friday Foster.
What you doing Friday? What you doing?
Starring Pam Grier as well as Yaphet Kotto. Who else is starring in this bad boy? You've got
like Julius Harris,
Harris,
Russella, Scatman Crothers,
Eartha Kitt.
It is actually a pretty ridiculous cast.
It is ridiculous. It is robust in this cast.
And Jim Backus makes an appearance.
Mr. Hal the Third makes an appearance in this film, ladies and gentlemen. That was brought to you by our very special guest, Carla Brothers.
Yes.
Of Glory and the 5 Heartbeats fame, as well as Miami Vice.
Yes.
Of all things. She will be joining us in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We're waiting for her to join us. And until we do,
I'm hoping she slides in like Eddie Kane Jr.
You know she know how to do it. You know she know how. But we're back live.
Yes.
We're live. We've missed you.
We did.
We took a week off.
We did.
Week vacation to recharge the batteries. We missed you all, ladies and gentlemen. And shout out to each and every one of you out there in the chat who are checking us out. Hello, 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 hello. Robert Monroe and Fry, Deborah Battle.
Hey, good evening, one and all.
Did you enjoy your week off, Vincent?
I did. But like you said, it is a weird muscle memory. Like it comes at like on Tuesday, it was kind of weird. It's like, oh, I got to watch a movie, and it's time to go and crack that mic, and then you didn't. So
yeah, it felt a little weird.
Yeah,
did feel a little weird.
Yeah,
That's
it's
very
always
true.
nice to get a little rest. And yourself?
I did enjoy the time off.
Okay.
Got a lot of work done.
Excellent.
A lot of work backed up, and I actually caught up on more than a few movies and shows.
Okay, good for you.
While doing that, I am now deep into season 6 of my probably 5th rewatch of the Venture Brothers TV series.
Interesting.
I love the Venture Brothers.
I started to rewatch it, got to a rewatch to like the 3rd season and got distracted.
Okay.
But yeah, it's good stuff.
It is good stuff. It's good fun stuff. I watched along with my girlfriend. Well, she watched and I watched with her the season finale of P-Valley.
Yeah, I've not started. I've not watched it. Are you on the P-Valley train?
I've watched it with my girlfriend.
Really? Because it gets really good reviews. People seem to love it.
I mean, look, it's a soap opera, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
But it is definitely deals with a subsection of the culture that does not get played up dramatically on television very often. And for those who don't know, P-Valley is a show that I believe is on Stars, that deals with all the machinations in the strip world.
Yes.
In a fictional town, I believe just outside of Atlanta or down south.
Right.
And it definitely gets into the world of strippers, of sex workers.
Right. And I think it's fair to say that stripper culture in the South
is a whole
different beast.
It's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
You may think it's the same as up here.
Right.
It's nothing.
Right.
Nothing like it. And it also gets into the world of LGBTQ community as well.
Okay.
Pretty deeply, pretty heavily, and pretty fairly.
Okay.
I will say that.
All right.
So it's a show that it doesn't like it doesn't hit me like, oh my God, we got to watch P-Valley tonight.
Sure.
but I find myself watching it with her, and you know, kind of like I can see where people get wrapped up in it. So
Okay.
and seeing the season finale, it had all the plot twists and turns that most season finales go for, and you know, they were kind of interesting. So that was pretty cool. I caught up on that. I started to watch. There's a new movie on Netflix starring Jamie Foxx and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. Did you watch it?
I watched a good, I want to say, and my girlfriend will correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say that we watched a good 30 minutes of that show and movie, and then we gave up.
Oh, you weren't enjoying it.
It just wasn't hitting me.
Okay.
It wasn't hitting me. It's called Day Shift.
Yeah. Been getting mixed reviews.
I will give it a mixed review of my own. Jamie Foxx stars as a vampire hunter.
Right.
And it is almost like it's almost like the Men in Black of vampire hunters. Like there's a whole secret organization,
sure, of course,
of which Snoop Dogg is one of them, and you know, maybe it gets deeper in the 2 hours of it, but in those first 30 minutes, it did not connect with me at all.
Okay,
and you know, we both were agreed, like there were better ways to spend our time.
Okay, all right.
So didn't check that out. However, what I did, we also started, what was this other show? We started a show on Apple Plus, Surface, with Google and Batha Raw.
Yes.
Yeah.
How's that?
That's interesting.
Okay.
That's very interesting. It deals with a woman who, you know, spoilers, but they give it away in like the first 10 minutes of the show. A woman who tried to kill herself, survived, but in surviving, she lost all of her memory previous to being revised.
Got you.
So now she's trying to put together her world and also, you know, reconcile, well, what made me
right, what got me to the point
where I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah.
So it asks some interesting questions in that. And you know, we're big fans of Google and Batha Raw here on the mission. So that's what definitely drew me to the series. And it's a beautiful series.
Okay.
It's anything on Apple Plus is. There's nothing on Apple Plus.
I was about to say the cinematography across the board.
Yeah.
In everything on Apple TV.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So you know, we enjoyed it.
Okay.
We gotta return to it. But we definitely were intrigued by it. I see that Jay England is in the chat via YouTube and is saying that she's enjoying Surface.
Okay.
And we enjoyed it for the most part as well. So that was pretty good. That's pretty good. We're looking forward to returning to that. But I won't return to that before I finish all 10 episodes. And I think I just finished episode 7.
Okay.
Of the Sandman.
Enjoying the Sandman.
Let me tell you something. I was enjoying the Sandman from the giddy up.
Yes.
Right. This is the adaptation of Neil Gaiman's historic comic book series.
Yeah.
Which I can't say I never read. I tried to read and I just couldn't get into it because I'm not really into horror and I'm not 100% into a whole lot of fantasy. The art didn't really drag me, so it didn't hook me. But so many people loved it. So when I saw that it was going to be adapted, and Neil Gaiman is definitely a part of the adaptation. I think he's more or less the showrunner, if not officially the showrunner.
Oh, and it's someone who has read the series. It's very faithful.
So I'm going in blind.
Okay.
Man, look, this series, it hooked me from the beginning. I love the whole premise of the Sandman being like the dreaming and being caught.
Sure.
And being held up for like 100 years.
Yeah.
Now having to reconcile with, you know, his escape and all that type of stuff. It's really dope. I love all of the casting.
Yeah.
I love the imagery of the series. I love every single thing about the series. But then there was an episode, and oh man, I can't remember the title of it.
Would it be The Beating of Her Wings?
No, that's the introduction to death.
Death, right. It was before death.
It's before death.
Is it 24/7?
24/7 is in the diner.
That's the diner.
No, it's the one before the diner.
Wow. So the
one before the diner.
You got pulled in before they pulled out.
Yeah, which I understand are the big guns.
Yeah.
The Beating of the Wings and the 24/7 and the Dollhouse, which is where I'm at
Doll's
now.
House, yeah.
But and I can't remember the title, but it's the one where the and help me with the character's name, the guy who woke up in the asylum. The
John D.
Yeah. John D is basically riding along with this woman. This woman picks him up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It gives him a ride.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my butt was clenched so tight watching that episode that I stopped it in the middle.
Yeah.
And said, I'm not ready to finish this.
Yeah.
Because if this goes left, I am going to curse this show. And then I didn't return to it for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And then when I returned to it, I was like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And man, that episode rewarded.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I'm here for the rest. And I've enjoyed the ride. The Sandman is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then if it wasn't ridiculous enough, I don't know how far you are in it.
I just finished what is it? The Beating of Her Wings.
So that's introduction,
and then the one with Hobb.
And then with Hobb.
Yeah,
okay, so
same episode. Yeah,
right. So the episode after that is Doll's House.
Right.
Doll's House. Right. And reminds me. Then actually, I'm 2 episodes past that. There's an episode which did my geek heart so gleefully, because on the screen, and I'm not giving anything away because it's not even really mentioned in this. In the series, but if you're a comic book fan, to look on the screen and see like on your screen at the same time, the Psycho Pirate, the Floronic Man, Shade, and Captain Cold, all on the screen at the same time, and in the way that they should be in this series, which is not giving anything away. I said, Sandman, you have tickled the last funny bone of my body. Like, I'm with you all the way.
Yeah.
I am with you all the way. The Sandman on Netflix. All that.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna say what I said before I watched it. I watched it. Kirby Howell Baptiste is absolutely glorious.
Yes,
as death.
As death. Yeah,
absolutely glorious. But I'm also enjoying it. I'm enjoying it
as well. Jay England says only watch 1 episode of Sandman. It was good. I have to jump back into it. Yes, you do. You got to get back in there. Farrell Blackwell says I'm going to need to give Sandman another shot. First few minutes of episode 1 gave me big CW vibes. Keep watching because I will admit that some of the imagery, some of the special effects,
some of the effects
have, I'm not going to say CW, but it's a cut above CW, but I can see what he's talking about. But it's a show that doesn't lean on the on the effects.
Exactly.
So it works.
Yeah. Netflix did not spend Apple money on the effects.
No, they did not. Yeah. No, they did not. All right. We're going to continue on our confab, but we have someone that we want to introduce to everyone.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may know her work from the 5 Heartbeats. You may know her work from Miami Vice. It's a shame that you might not know her work as well as you should from Glory.
I know.
But we know her because we've had extensive conversations with her. And we consider her already a friend of the show.
Yes.
Even though this is our first appearance.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, out there in the chat and listening on the podcast land, put your virtual hands together for Carla Brothers in the building. Hey, Carla, how you doing?
I'm doing fine because I'm here. Yay!
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Honey, feels good to be here.
Yes. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Yeah, good to see you.
Very good to see you too. You look fabulous.
Oh well, thank you. Yeah, and so do you. You look fabulous. And look at Farrell
I
Blackwell.
had to put a pony on because it's like I have this air conditioning in here and it's wonderful, but it sounds like a helicopter. It'd be like, what I'm trying to say. So I just said, put the hair up and
Right.
be a little more comfortable and stuff. So that's all good. So
It's all good. Farrell Blackwell is giving you virtual applause. As
Yes.
you can see there on the
well,
screen.
thank you so much.
And
It's
so it's
wonderful.
So it's Camelia and Deborah Battle saying hello, Carla. Everyone is here for the Carla Brothers show on the
Oh,
mission.
wonderful. Yay.
That is cool. That is cool. Carla is I kind of like referenced it.
Right.
That it's a shame that you may not know her as well as you should from Glory, because you had a significant role in Glory. Like you were there for like almost like the whole thing. You and Matthew Broderick became like best friends and the whole nine. And then chop happened. And
It happens. It happens a lot. And I have to say that I think the directors, when you get a script, everything makes sense in the context of the script. And then when you start filming rather, he had to go with what was best for the movie. And it was a man's movie. And historically, Charlotte Fortin and Matthew Broderick's character were friends, very good friends. But in the movie, there was more of a romantic kind of interest. And I would have supposed that probably that was, they didn't want to sort of move away from the main, plot kind of thing, because it wasn't as if the relationship really changed him,
right.
Significantly. So then, so it's okay. I mean, she really needs her own film.
That's right.
It's an amazing story, her story. So, I'll be like, okay, I'm ready. I'm on the set now. We're going to tell a story about her at 90 and then, get the young whippersnapper to do her when she was like 24 and stuff.
Right.
Got to have a sense of humor about all that kind of stuff. But hey, I took a little bit of a respite. I raised 2 wonderful children. So, your priorities are, where they are, so I feel happy to have had the success that I've had, and I'm looking forward to we discussed that a little bit, the kind of things I'm looking at now and stuff. So I wouldn't mind acting, but I'm also interested in directing and producing and doing a lot of writing. And that's kind of the next phase for me. And that's kind of a great segue, if you don't mind, in talking about the film that we're going to talk about today, Friday Foster.
Yes.
I'm going to segue into that for a moment because, it's interesting when you look at something, it's always important to put your cap on of context. When was the film made? What was going on socially, politically? And the thing that kind of very clear to me that it was this sort of superhero. I mean, in a way, she's got these extraordinary powers. She's, physically very
imposing.
Yeah.
Pam Grier. Yeah.
And yet she's not demure, but she's never like, oh, I'm going to beat your butt kind of thing, at least not in this film.
Right.
And it was interesting to me because, I think about what was going on at the time. There was the women's, equal rights movement. And, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Get that out. Didn't do my speech exercises today. Ginsburg. And, the 70s were a really amazing time. I mean, sort of like the 60s, you always think of the 60s with the war and Black Power and civil rights. But the 70s, had its own for women. And, Black women, as I'm sure you're aware, were sort of not at the forefront of that movement. It was like, well, wait a minute, we're women too. Like, what's up with that? And then, of course, certain the powers that be invited the sisters in. But my point is, when I was watching the film, it was like, hey, let's do a movie about this really beautiful woman. And she's got like, she's amazingly intuitive and she's very loyal and all this great stuff. But it was from a man's perspective. What, and so I think when I look at it and I look at things today that are produced and written by women, there's just a little more substance in terms of
Of course.
real character and a real person. So, the thing about looking at something in context, it's like, this was a beginning, right?
Right.
Like a lot of those films, when you look at them in retrospect, there's a lot of, misogynistic, types of things. Even I remember one of the lines when the guy says, oh gosh, her boss says something to her, you just bring your something like, bring your sweet little ass, or something like that, you just,
Yeah.
and she doesn't respond to it, like, who are you talking to, like, a woman, but it's just like, oh, move beyond it, and just be sweet and wonderful, and
Right.
it's like amazing, because she is like, all the talent that she had. I mean, I think that was her 5th film with the studio at that time.
Yeah.
So speaking about Pam Grier.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Right.
sorry, that Pam
Yeah.
Grier,
Right.
and I think about him like, she carried a movie. She was a movie star, so, from looking like at it from a 2022 perspective, after, this is almost 50 years ago, but yet that's an amazing, accomplishment that she was able, because they didn't keep asking her to come back because, she was pretty. They knew that she could sell tickets, and she was box office draw, and she had a lot of,
Very
power
true.
in
Absolutely.
But I have to just say this, that it was interesting to me, because at that time I kept saying, what was going on at that time in terms of theater, and the perspective that I had, is that there was more of a division. Like, you as an actor would decide
Which lane you want to be in.
Yeah, you either were LA actor or you were New York. And there were some people, that did migrate. They got into series and things like that, especially during all the sitcoms and stuff like that. But I was thinking about, like, the powerful theatrical actresses, that started out with Negro Ensemble Company, and New Federal Theater in New York, and other theaters, Black theaters around the country. And it was just interesting to me that, none of them were depicted in these films, it's
Right.
like, because they're not sex symbols. They were, women that were beautiful or whatever, but they were playing different types of stuff. And so that's interesting too. But, I have to say, watching her work in Jackie Brown, it was just like all this stuff that she like, her work was so subtle and just like, so, so it, like, I think all that stuff that was there, the potential, it's like that she just blossomed as an artist.
Most definitely.
Right. And we've actually talked about that before, something that you just spoke to, that sort of quote unquote blaxploitation actor versus Black people who were already acting and were trained actors. And a lot of times in these films, you can almost tell who's from which school.
Yeah. Right. That's true.
Yeah, rubbing up against one another.
Yeah, that's
and a lot of that you can see, I think, on display in this film. Friday Foster.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so.
A lot of it, but we're going to get into that in full in a little bit. But first,
well, you know me, I like to talk.
Well, that's fine. We like to talk with you. It's all good.
Appropriately enough, before you got here, I said you were going to slide in here like Eddie Kane Jr. at the beginning of the file.
I had a little bit of trouble getting in, and I did go on Chrome, but it was like, it wasn't taking anyway. It's okay. It's all good.
You're here now. That's
I was about to say.
Let's get into it before we dig into the movie in general. We got some business we got to take care of, starting with Vincent. We have some listener mail.
Missives from the missionaries.
Yes, we got an email from Ellis Heron.
What's up, Ellis?
Hey fellas, that was a great episode with the Candy Tangerine Man. That's the film that we reviewed last week. Carla, you dodged the bullet with that one. Not too long ago, I found another movie that the actor John Daniels was the lead in called Getting Over. I know The Candy Tangerine Man is a bad movie, but it's a fun one compared to how boring Getting Over was.
Oh no.
Wow.
I can believe that. Um,
Funny. Wow.
last I do a feature every week, Carla, called Top Five. And
Mhm.
last week, my top five was a list of black men who maybe shouldn't be leading men. And Ellis writes, Len made a good call for bringing up Morris Chestnut on his top five list of black men who shouldn't be leading men. I never realized he doesn't rise to the occasion of being a lead. And since you brought his name up, even Tay Diggs' character in All American winked at the camera and threw shade at Morris Chestnut by saying he's much shorter in person. Well, that's that. I don't know whether or not that
I was about
really
to say
happened,
that's
but it is true.
yeah.
It is true. He is a lot shorter in person. However, my question is, could Leon Isaac Kennedy be considered for your top five list? Now, I'm going to stop you right there, Ellis. The reason why I didn't put Leon Isaac Kennedy on my top five list is because, as opposed to being cast in films, he was also kind of like a writer and producer of those films.
He put himself
in the lead.
Right.
So, I ain't going to knock him for that.
Right.
The point, though, is that he never led anything else.
Right.
So, he did what he had to do. Keep up the good laughs and informative conversation going, guys. Your boy Ellis Heron from Fort Worth, Texas. P.S. My pregnant wife wanted me to tell you both that even though she's due around Thanksgiving, absolutely nothing will keep her away from going to see Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
All right.
Yes.
That's right. Raise that baby right.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Are you a Black Panther fan, Carla?
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
Big time. All right, we got one more email, Vince.
One more email.
This is from Nissa May.
Hey, Nissa.
Hello, Len and Vince. This month marks the 3rd anniversary of the first time I listened to the Michelle Mission.
Oh.
It was August 2019, and I was on Pandora in search of the Monkey Hustle soundtrack.
as one does.
Apparently Nisa does. Yeah. Needless to say, I found something much more valuable.
Oh, good.
I've been a fan ever since. My favorite episodes are 3 the Hard Way, Petey Wheatstraw, which was epic.
Yes, which is the Devil's Son-in-Law.
Devil's Son-in-Law, which is a continuation of our series of Dolomite reviews.
Right.
Dorian Missick and Omar Dorsey. We're overdue to get back.
Way overdue.
And Truck Turner, which I actually listened to again.
Well, unfortunately, because of Michelle Nichols passing,
and that is
it's a good episode.
It's a good episode.
It's a good episode.
By the way, I will be a senior at the College for Creative Studies in Detroit this fall, and I linked an alternative movie poster I did for the 5 Heartbeats below. Hope you all enjoy it. Sincerely, Nissa May. So I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to save it and post it to our Facebook group. So people, and I also put it up here later in the show so that Carla, I'll send, I can email it to you, Carla.
Okay.
Thank you. That would be lovely. Thank you so much.
You know what, Carla, speaking of the 5 Heartbeats, you said something to us when we talked about what you brought to your character.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted you to tell that story because I thought that was a really great story that informs our viewing of the 5 Heartbeats.
Sure. Well, Robert and Keenan had written the script. And when I read the script, I played Tanya Sawyer. And I felt comfortable enough with Robert. He seemed very approachable. And I said, reading it, it seems like, I know she was portrayed as a gold digger. But I just felt it was a little bit sort of not really multidimensional. It was like, all I want is the money. And, it's just like sort of, it was not a person that had any type of real depth about why, So I said to him, why don't we think about, would you consider, because it's his piece, would you consider, working on her a little bit so that she's really does love Duck?
Hmm.
And like so many people do, she messes up and has an affair with the brother, but it's inconsequential, So it's like, um, and he's trying to make it seem like this big deal. It's like, I love you, like, but I'm not in love with you. And, all the things that he used to say to women. So it was sort of like it gave, the Leon character a chance to kind of get a taste of his own medicine. And so at the end, when he leaves her, it's kind of heartbreaking because that's the reason why she doesn't want to tell him the truth, because she
Right.
really does love him. And I just loved that because, he was quirky and wonderful and romantic and all these, he writes poetry, and she genuinely loved him. And he agreed that that was a stronger choice than just being somebody who didn't care about him, was just out for the whatever she could get. And I think a lot of people didn't really, like some people got it, and I was reading some posts or something that somebody said, they were saying, no, if you think about what they're saying, the exchange in the hotel, she says, all these years, you're acting like I've been trying, like running after you, but this isn't factual. I'm in love with him. And so even though we only get snippets, people kind of put on it what they perceive of what's happening. But that's, and I'm appreciative to Robert for doing that. Oh, wow, that's really
Wow,
nice.
that is really nice.
Yeah,
My bad. I got it down.
because he didn't have to. And some people are so married to their work or in their words, they'd be like, okay, well, thank you very much. And, no, thank you. But he was like, yeah, let's go for it. And I also have to say, too, if you don't mind, that one thing I really loved about him, and we didn't audition. I don't know if the script was ready or at that time or whatever, but he just wanted to do improvisations to kind of get a feel for what the people would bring to the role. And I really loved that. It was just, it's just, okay, this is a situation. You're this person, you're that person. Let's see what we do. And it was fun. It's like, you're not like nervous. It's just about creating something special. And I really appreciated that, that he did that. And it was just a wonderful piece to work on. But yeah, Tanya really, really, I know some people may not believe it, but Tanya adored Duck. And, it's too bad things didn't work out.
Yeah.
I even said to him at one point, I said, because I was working on a play on the East Coast at the time, and they flew me out when I was getting ready to shoot. And I said to him, well, after we had that conversation, yeah, let's make them really in love and stuff. And so I said, well, can they have happy ending? And he said, no, we've already shot the scene at the barbecue. I was like,
right.
darn, but I tried.
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of the film, and I love that complication. Like I love in the film where so many of the characters, their motivations are pretty straightforward and linear. You do get that complication that really it adds some nuance to the relationship between the brothers.
Oh yeah.
And you understand how what's almost a misunderstanding causes these brothers to have this falling out. And it was nice that obviously they have to have the fallout so that everyone comes back together at the end, but it's just that much more heartbreaking that it's not over, like you said, just some gold digger or groupie.
Right.
So,
Then, no, who cares about that? Who cares
right.
about that relationship? When you see a relationship that has, that there's love there and it doesn't work out, it's always like, oh man, but it's interesting. I really did like the fact that, that the Duck character was always kind of the loser, what was the game they used to play?
Shot Brother.
Exactly.
Shot Brother. Oh yeah.
He said, just go over there and just like look. And he says, oh, he's so pathetic, like that whole thing. And then he takes the girl and just like, and then, I think that, not to make Tanya seem like that she's all that, but, she was the one girl that kind of did him the way he did other people. And that kind of like, he got his, cause and effect is very strict.
Yeah.
He had done that to so many women. And it was interesting because I thought Leon played it nicely because at the end, after I say, I can't tell him the truth. And you see this tear roll down his face, which, it was, even though he wasn't saying, I love you so much, you're going to be mine, but it's because, his character was too not evolved enough to kind of express himself that way. I thought that was a nice sort of look at the internal character. That was some nice work that he did. So, yeah, it was fun filming and yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Did I ever tell you a funny story about? Did I tell you a story about when I was driving the car, the Mustang?
No.
No.
Behind the scenes. Well, I was a New York actor. And as such, I knew how to drive, sort of. But because I lived in New York, I figured I'm an artiste. I don't need to drive a car. I'm going to take the subway, take a bus, Except that when I went to New Jersey, my parents had to haul me around. So anyway, I knew how to kind of sort of drive a car, but I didn't have my license. So, of course, that was one of the things they said, well, do you drive? And I was like, oh, go. Well, don't worry, we're going to get you lessons. Da, 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 da. So anyway, they gave me some lessons or whatever. And all I had to do was get in the car. Like, I don't even know if they kept that scene in the movie, but I'm at my house and yeah, they show it, but they don't show me turning around to the street. Anyway, what happens is they're all at the base of the driveway, and I get into this gorgeous Mustang, classic 1960s Mustang. It's beautiful. And they got somebody in the back seat, I guess, like on the floor, not on the back seat, the back, just to make sure if anything goes wrong because they're going to jump up over my head or something and save the day. So anyway. And I guess I'm a little nervous at that point because it just seems like to me this car it was like driving a Porsche or something like
Right,
this.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Scratched, so the deal is I'm coming down the driveway really nicely and really nicely, and all of a sudden I get close and they're all in front of me, and all of a sudden they say, "Okay, we're gonna move now," and everybody just runs. I'm going okay, and I turned very nicely, go down to go on down the street, and I was like, guys, that doesn't make me feel. But it was funny. I mean, that should have been kept in as a blooper. That was funny.
That's crazy.
That was a real yeah. I was like, okay. And then the guy that played Chuck Patterson, the lovely manager for the group, he was giving me sort of lessons at night. And Chuck is really sweet. He's a sweetheart, but he was like, okay, no, not that way, this way. And I'm like, okay. we're in a store, shopping mall, parking lots. Okay, turn around here. So, but that's funny too, because actually I have this karma. It's interesting when I get films. It's always something I say, I should have taken more of those horseback riding lessons. But I think I told you about riding in glory, riding side saddle. Because I had ridden before, but I'm talking about a horse, just a rig. I'd never ridden side saddle. Who would? I mean, unless you're
right.
period piece, because we certainly don't ride side saddle. And people in the audience, side saddle is what women back in the day in the 1800s and beforehand, they basically they had a protrusion coming out of the saddle, and that was for your legs, to
rest on.
Yeah, it's really great for your inner thighs, because it's you have to really hold on tight. And the first couple of times you do, it's it feels so awkward. Then you get used to it. It's yeah, I got this. And it's a balancing thing. It's not the same thing as, and talk about galloping that way. It's interesting. So anyway, that was another example of oh, do you ride? And I didn't know it was side saddle. Oh, yes, I do ride, because I had, written. It was just okay, and this is what you're going to be doing. I was okay, I think I need to practice a little bit, But,
one of the things, watching people ride side saddle in movies and stuff like that, right, is that, I always thought, one, a part of it didn't necessarily look comfortable for the woman to be sitting side saddle, but then I also had to give them mad props, because they would be riding these horses. These horses would be racing, jumping, sometimes because they'd be riding side saddle, but still doing the hurdles and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, you really got to be boss for that. Maybe even a little bit more boss than some of these, cowboys or, guys riding next to you and stuff. So mad props to the sisters, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And then probably they did have some stunt doubles that were, and they would just do close-ups with the actors and stuff. But I was trotting around and side saddle. So afterwards, I was like, oh, I want to do this some more. I was like, where do you go to take go to a stable and say, hey, you got can I go side saddle? They think you're crazy. It's like, what?
Right, right.
But it was fun. It was just me and my karma with transportation in a film. It's like driving and horseback riding, and but anyway. But yeah, there were two really fun movies, and I have to say, Glory was the costumes were. I mean, both movies, the costumes were great. I just love doing period pieces, and then even the piece that I did on Showtime, the 10,000 Black Men Named George.
Mhm.
That one just going because my character was a beautician and in the 1920s and 30s, and just handling the actual instruments from that time, or just the whole milieu. I just love it. It's kind of nice going back in time. That's something special that actors get to do, is get the hair done, get the costumes on for period pieces. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Amen. Real quick before we move on, I'm always curious about this. How was it working with the actor Leon? He always came across to me as like a bit of an enigma. So I wonder like how it was actually working with him.
Well, I mean, he was fun. Like, for instance, the scenes that we did together, he was generous. He, I thought he did some really good work. It's like we didn't hang out or buddy friends or anything like that. But he's a nice guy, and he was like, we rehearsed it. I think Robert allowed us to improvise a little bit, if I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
create some of those lines. And I can't remember, exactly, but I know that Robert was really cool about binding stuff. Like, oh, and then, oh yeah, let's use that. I like it, which was good. But yeah, I enjoyed working with him.
I know you speak highly of your time, of course, working with Robert Townsend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was. It was wonderful. And I think I told you the last time we spoke that what was so special about it. I'm a New York East Coast girl, and I've gone out to LA to work and stuff. But grew up in the East Coast, and real close to New York and stuff, and love it. And so anyway, it was great because when I got there, I saw Tico Wells, who played Choir
Mhm.
Boy, and he and I, were best buddies. We had done a couple shows together in the city. John Terrell and I had done a play together at the Public Theater, and Michael Wright and I went to the same acting school. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Wow.
we both went
It
and
was
came from
just a reunion.
Strasbourg
Yeah.
Institute. Yeah. So that was like, it was like a reunion kind of thing. And then I got to meet Harry, and he's like actually still a good buddy friend of mine. When my first son was born, my first son turned a year old. We gave him a party at my my ex's mom's house. So Harry came in, and he was just wonderful. I mean, a 1-year-old doesn't have any friends, really.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
so it's basically the parents' friends. So I said, would you do something? I said, do you want to be like the master of ceremonies, just go around to everybody and interview them and stuff? And he was just like so great. He did it, and it was hysterical. We filmed it, and he was like going, "Oh, like, so how do you know this baby?" And
I can see it. I can totally
I
see
know.
Harry Lennox doing it.
oh my God. I mean, Harry is, my nickname for him is Sir Harry. He is, I have to tell you, ever since I've known him, he is such a gentleman.
Really?
Yeah.
He is the consummate gentleman. There's something about him that is quite, I don't know, he's like from another era. Like, when I was filming when I was actually, when I started filming 10,000 Black Men, they had just wrapped his piece, which I think was, what was it about? I can't think off the top of my head. Anyway, he played the lead. And so I don't know how his name came up. I was in the chair either for hair and makeup, and somehow I mentioned his name, and they were like, "Oh, did you just say Harry Lennox?" I said, "Yeah, we worked together in the Five Heartbeats." And they go, "Oh, he is the nicest man." They
Mhm.
couldn't stop talking about him. He said every single person he met, he was so kind and generous and wonderful. And that's kind of who he is. He's just, he's a very, very special person. Just lovely. He's a lovely person. And he has a lovely wife, and just very, they're a wonderful couple.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That is cool. All right, Vince, we're going to move on.
Okay.
We're going to get into the feature moments of the show, and beginning with the top five.
Who's your top five? My top five is. My top five is. My top five is. My top five is.
All right, top five, ladies and gentlemen. This is where I will give you my top five list. And tonight, you know, I felt like people were getting on me about last week's top five list. They thought that was like it was like I saw somebody in the chat saying it was my shadiest list ever.
Yeah. It's true.
I don't know.
What's the category? Top five of what? I mean,
Well,
top five.
tonight's top five, I wanted to be a little bit more positive.
Yes.
And
Accentuate the positive.
Accentuate the positive. Yes, Vincent. And because we are reviewing
Friday
Foster, which is based on a comic strip, as we'll get into when we do the review.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do top five comic strip movies.
Okay.
So the top five movies that were based on comic strips.
Comic strips.
Yes, comic strips, not comic books.
Not comic books.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this is very positive.
Very positive.
And some of these films are people may not even know were based on comic strips.
So you're also teaching.
Perhaps
It's edutainment.
I try.
Yes.
I try. Okay. So are you ready, Vince?
I am ready.
All right, cool.
I'm ready.
Carla is also ready.
Carla is ready. Let's go. Now, I've got an honorable mention because we're doing top five, but I got an honorable mention at number 6.
Okay.
Because this one is probably definitely the granddaddy of all these films.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were just going to go on volume, this would have to be number 1.
Okay.
But almost all of the iterations would fall under that category that you, Vincent, would call an old ass movie.
Oh, that's segregation era films.
Yes.
Films my father would have had to sit in the balcony to watch.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the honorable mention would be the Blondies movie series from 1938 to 1950.
Yes.
What? It's real.
I know it's real. I know
It's real. The Blondies movies, the Blondies movie series, it's from 1930. It's a total of 28 films, Vincent.
Yes,
28 films, all of them starring Peggy Singleton in the role of Blondie.
Well, of course.
And Arthur Lake as Dagwood Bumstead, her husband.
You gotta have Arthur Lake.
Yes. So
that's the honorable mention.
That's the honorable mention.
Okay, it has been honorably mentioned.
It's been honorably mentioned. All right, you never watched the Blondie series.
Not
one.
And I feel like I've lived a full, rewarding life.
Carla's. I'm not even going to ask Carla. Carla's like, what are we here for? I
no. I mean, I'm always to learn something new. I didn't know that. So.
See, we've all learned about the Blondie.
Yes, it's based on a comic strip.
Right. Arthur Lake.
Are you familiar with the comic strip, Vincent?
Yes.
All right. It's a comic strip by Chick Young that is
boy,
still running in newspapers.
You are filled with Blondie's facts.
I am. All right. So anyway.
All right.
Number 5. So that was honorable mention.
Honorable mention.
Number 5.
Yes, number 5.
Is Dick Tracy from 1990.
Okay. Did you like this film?
Starring Warren Beatty and Madonna. I liked it at the time.
Okay.
This is based on the famous Dick Tracy comic strip by Chester Gould.
Yes.
I liked it at the time, and I can still watch it and get lost in the style of it.
It's about to say the costumes, and the set
designs. Mm-hmm. I got a lot of room for Al Pacino.
Right.
as Prune Face. I actually got a lot of time for Madonna in that.
Madonna's not bad in it.
She's not bad
Yeah,
in
she's a standout.
Quiet as kept. The weak link is Dick Tracy.
Well,
Warren Beatty.
That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah. But so with that, when I watch it, I still think it's a fun-ish film. It's
5
not,
seems right.
but number 5,
yeah,
definitely.
Okay.
Were you a fan of the film?
I've always liked the set design. I've always liked the costumes, and much like you, I thought Warren Beatty was miscast.
Yeah, me too. Were you a fan of the film, Carla?
Well, yeah, it's interesting that you bring it up because at the time it was so like larger than life. But I agree that there was so much, the style, it was so stylistically like, bigger than life, sort of like comic strip, and then he was sort of like muted his performance,
Right, exactly.
compared to the other people that, like Pacino was great. When I think about that movie, I think about his performance in there. It's just incredible. But yeah, well, like who would you have cast? Who do you think would have been a great Dick Tracy?
Oh, for 1990, that's a good question. I mean, to be fair, Warren Beatty gets cast also because his name gets the movie made.
Sure.
I mean, it's coming off the heels of Batman's big success, so they're looking for comic strip type of things, but you still need a name at that time.
Oh, absolutely. Need a name today too.
Well, yeah, but a movie can make the name because Chadwick Boseman was a name, but he wasn't a superstar.
Sure.
When he gets cast as Black Panther, I don't know who I would cast as going back in time. I'd have to think about that. That's a good question. But meanwhile, number four, Vincent, is Over the Hedge from 2006.
Wow.
Over the Hedge, which is an animated DreamWorks film starring the voices of Bruce Willis, Steve Carell, Gary Shandling, Wanda Sykes, Nick Nolte, William Shatner, based on the comic strip of the same name by Michael Fry and T. Lewis. This, I'm telling you, I can't say it was slept on it because it's a movie that made $340 million off of an $80 million budget. So it was decidedly a hit. But I do think it's an underappreciated film. It is really, really good. Really, really funny.
I've never heard of this film nor this comic strip.
Well, it's a comic strip that it's not like one of the more popular ones, so it doesn't have a large distribution. And it wasn't distributed here in Philadelphia, but it definitely was a comic strip that, of some notoriety, obviously, because it got made it to a film. And this may be one of Gary Shandling's best performances on screen, even though it's just his voice.
I can't comment on this at all.
You should show it to your son Adam.
I feel like you're playing a practical joke on me. This existed?
It existed. I've seen this movie multiple times. I love this film. It is so funny. Wanda Sykes plays a skunk. It is
all right. I'll jot it down.
What year did it come out?
2006.
Wow.
2000, not that old.
We'll look it up.
Yeah.
It's a really good. I'm telling you, you should show it to your son. Your son will enjoy it.
Okay. All right.
And ask Camille.
Ask Camille.
I bet Camille has checked it out. I bet she liked it.
I will ask her.
All right. That's number 4.
Number 4.
Number 3.
Number 3
of top movies based on comic strips. Flash Gordon from 1980.
I can't wait to see what 2 films you think are better than Flash Gordon based on comic strips.
So what about wasn't there something Flash Gordon and something done in the 50s too?
Well, yes, there was. There were the movie serials of Flash Gordon in the 50s. But they were like a feature film. And for this list, I can't do but so many old ass movies. Otherwise, Vince he'll just laugh at me. So trust me, I'll be right there. I got time for Buster Crabbe as Flash Gordon.
God's sake. Go ahead.
See, you saw that face. But
get in the balcony, darky. No popcorn for you.
But the 1980 Flash Gordon, based on the King's feature comic strip of the same name, directed by Mike Hodges, famously stars Sam Jones.
Wait, I thought Dino De Laurentiis directed this.
He produced it. He
Okay.
produced it.
All right.
No. Sam Jones, who's still making money off on the convention circuit,
I mean,
off of Flash Gordon.
else
Max
is
Van Sydow, there you go. There's a name.
yeah.
Wow.
And featuring a historic soundtrack by Queen.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yes,
He saved every one of us.
that's right. So the soundtrack alone puts this at number 3
Look.
because the movie is not good.
You have to go into it with the proper spirit.
Yes, you have to go into it thinking cult film, silly film.
And the costumes are amazing.
Okay, they're ridiculous.
Yes.
But Sam Jones is
Yeah, Sam Jones
a
is
plank.
not the best actor.
no, he's not. He's not. And Max Van Sydow, somebody they have to cattle prod him to wake him up for his scenes.
I think
It's
he's
just
eating up all the scenery.
Where am I? What? Who kidnapped me and dropped me in this film?
Yes. Yeah.
And I just forgot his name. Who plays the doctor? One name. Fiddler on the Roof.
Topol.
Topol.
Yes,
That's right.
Topol. Yes, Topol. Yeah. Trust me, Fiddler on the Roof is way
Fiddler,
above.
he probably leads with Fiddler on the
Yes,
Roof.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
But
to be
and
fair,
also I was in Flash Gordon.
So does he sing "If I Was Flash Gordon"?
if only he had.
If only he
That
had.
would make
That
this
would have
movie.
been like
Yeah.
That
a
would make
big
this
moment.
Now, Vincent, you can't believe that I could come up with 2 films based on comic strips that are better than this movie.
I mean, I'm assuming Annie is about to show up.
You would think that Annie would show up,
The sun will come out
On this-
tomorrow.
but no, Annie
No,
does not show up on this list.
Really?
it's a hard knock life. For
Not that I remember. Probably because
You didn't remember Annie.
no, because 1, this is top 5,
Yeah.
and 2, Annie is a musical.
But it's based on a comic strip.
Yeah, but for the most part, I don't dig musicals.
Have you ever seen Annie?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh my goodness, you don't like Annie?
You don't like musicals? Did you
Yeah.
see Hamilton?
No, I like it. Okay, we've
boy.
learned that I actually like
Oh.
musical plays,
Oh, Carla, don't go
musical
down this road.
movies.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I-
Yeah.
I
You didn't
don't
like
learn-
La La Land? That was a great movie.
No, well, no. Okay, to be fair, I haven't seen La La Land, so
Dun, 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 dun.
there's no mic dropping on not seeing La La Land. Vince, have you seen La La
I've
Land?
not seen La La Land.
Okay,
either. I
yeah,
was
drop the
hoping-
mic on Vincent.
I was hoping I could just be quiet and let you eat that.
No, I'm gonna live here by myself.
Right.
No, I haven't seen La La Land. I think now I have seen some movie musical that I like. I like the movie musical Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a
I
good one.
enjoyed that. I liked Dreamgirls.
Of course, of course, of course.
I like.
will never leave you.
I didn't mind Rent.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, wasn't good. It wasn't as good as the Broadway
but it's
version.
not as good as the play.
Not
You're,
as good
you're
as the
absolutely right.
All right.
Okay, so at number 2,
Number 2.
I don't believe I chose Annie. I know what I chose as number 1. I honestly forget what I chose as number 2. Number 2,
You don't have a piece of paper to look at?
there you go. A Boy Named Charlie Brown from 1969.
Oh,
That's a solid choice.
A feature
Oh.
film.
Yeah.
It's the film, and surprisingly, it's not a musical, but there's a lot of music in it.
Of course.
That I don't mind. And it's a movie that talks about Charlie Brown going to the spelling bee.
Yes.
It's so tender. It's so beautiful.
Misspells Beagle.
Man,
It's heartbreaking.
it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But it's so Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
And I just love that. I love that movie.
Yeah.
1969. All of the producing principles involved in the TV specials are involved in the movie.
Right.
Charles Schultz, Bill Mendelsohn.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. I know people are probably hearing the music leading through the show outside a window. So that's what happens when you do the show.
Do it live.
We're doing it live,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, A Boy Named Charlie Brown. I absolutely adore that movie, and I know it's been a long time since people see it. It still holds up. I rewatched it.
Absolutely.
This week. Beautiful movie.
Those are great characters, all that whole, and I love the fact that in every iteration of Charlie Brown, it's like the adults are,
I know.
they don't have voices; they just have like this gibberish. And the kids are but Charlie Brown is such an interesting kind of character. I think everybody kind of can relate to him as a kid because he's just, no matter how much he tries, he doesn't quite, it's like the Lucy's kind of the bully, and she loves Schroeder, who's the intellectual pianist, and it's there's a lot of good stuff. There was a musical. I'm not sure if it was Broadway or off Broadway, but there was a musical.
It did make it to Broadway.
Charlie Brown, and and it was, I never saw it, but I hear that it was pretty good.
I heard it was pretty good. It's actually a musical that gets done in high schools a lot.
Mm.
And
Gets done where?
In high schools. A lot of high schools.
You said in Iceland, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
They put it on there too.
Maybe in Iceland. Yeah, that's
and middle schools too, because it's kind of perfect for that.
Right. It's You're a Good man, Charlie Brown.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
But see, Len, I'm writing a musical, so now I don't think I can invite you to the when I have to have people come give their feedback. But it's not a regular musical, so I think you'll find it interesting.
Oh, it's not a regular musical.
Well, I mean, it's got, well, I think because I have a lot of different types of music in there. Believe me, there's a lot of different types of music. So it's and actually I'm writing it for television. So
okay.
It's got episodes and stuff, but
right.
So I'll invite you anyway, because I'll be like, what do you think? What'd you say? Huh? You didn't like it? What? I love it. Okay. That's the answer I'm looking for.
Very true. Very true. All right. You ready for our number one movie based on a comic strip?
Number one movie based on a comic strip.
And no, it's not Andy.
Where's the drum roll?
It's not Andy.
All right.
The Addams Family from 1991.
Good choice.
A film that a lot of people don't know is based on a comic strip.
That's right.
Because a lot of people think it's just based on the TV series.
Right. That was based on the comic strip.
It was based on
and they even have a musical version of the Addams Family that was on Broadway. So.
Yes, they do. And there's an actual new Addams Family that's going to be coming up on Netflix called Wednesday.
I
think it's Tim Burton that's doing that, I believe.
Maybe that seems like his deal. So
but the Addams Family from 1991 with Raul Julia, Angelica Houston. Look, man, I think that film is like when they said they were going to do a movie version of the Addams Family.
Yeah,
and you knew they were going to, while they're pulling it from, it's based on the comic strip. You know, a lot of it's coming from the television series. Because famously the television series is the iteration that actually gave names to the characters. They never had names in the comic strip.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know
Charles
that.
Addams he just did a series of comic strips of this weird family, but he never gave them any names.
Interesting.
So it was the TV series that gave all of them names.
Okay.
And really fleshed out those characters.
Okay.
The way that they did. And so you knew that the movie was going to be pulling from that as well. And the performance in the television series by John Astin and Carolyn Jones and all of the other actors on there, Jackie Coogan as it's just like, they are iconic.
Absolutely
iconic. So to cast who's going to follow up in that, that's some huge shoes to fill. Right. And yet I think they did very well with, first of all, I myself don't think I would have cast Raul Julia. I don't think that he would have been my first choice, but man, does he kill it.
Now you can't see anyone else in the role.
Yes.
You can't. And to be fair, I'm not even sure I would have cast Angelica Houston either.
Right.
Yet she kills it as well.
But she's got that kind of. I could see her like as a first choice though, because she's an interesting actress. I mean, she's got that like really strong, but like she could also play the kind of like a little bit offbeat characters and stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
And she has the striking beauty, but
also
ethereal visage.
Right.
That to be fair, I'm not even sure Carolyn Jones necessarily had. She actually embodies the character from the comic strip even more, Angelica Houston.
Right.
And then Christopher Lloyd, who looks nothing like Jackie Coogan.
Yeah.
Built nothing like Jackie Coogan. But he becomes Uncle Fester.
Oh yeah.
He becomes Uncle Fester, and I just fell in love with that film, and that is why, to me, that is the number one film based on a comic strip.
A solid choice and a solid list.
Solid list. You're good with that list?
I have no problem with this list at all. Although there's still a part of me that thinks you're pulling some type of Andy Kaufman practical joke with that over the hedge thing, but I'm going to believe that this actually
did really happen.
I stand educated. I have to say, starting with Blondie, I learned a lot today. So
there you go.
Really good.
There you go.
Sharon Eldridge says, "Damn, Len, first Goonies, now Annie, pooping all over my childhood." I don't mean to poop on your childhood.
You just do it naturally.
I do. Farrell Blackwell says that they need to give Charlie Brown the Avenue Q treatment.
Oh boy.
I don't know about that. Farrell.
I love your audience. It's like,
oh yeah, they're special.
They're
Oh yeah.
They are definitely special. Farrell Blackwell also saying that he had no idea that the Addams Family was a comic strip.
Yeah,
so it's a
good
solid
strip
number
too.
one pick.
If you find some collections, that's a good investment.
He has a question for you, Carla, in regards to the musical that you're writing. Please tell us it's a reboot of Cop Rock.
No, I would not want to do that. No. That was like, I remember like when that was coming out, I was like, oh yeah, this is great. I was like, how long did it last? It was basically
Yeah, I don't even think it lasted like 3 episodes.
I was about to say, I don't think it went 6.
Yeah.
Great idea. Great idea. And it doesn't mean it can't work. It just means that wasn't the time, or that wasn't the best way to manifest it.
Look, you always love a big swing.
Yeah.
And encourage. You like something that's innovative and different. And sometimes, I can't speak to that specifically, but sometimes there are things that just like don't fit at that time. And then you look back and say, that's an interesting concept. And somebody does it like 20 years later and does their spin on it and it works.
Right.
So, there's nothing wasted, except that I'm sure they were disappointed. And the actors, I'm sure, were disappointed that it didn't have a life. But wow, I'm telling you, your stuff, like Cop Rock, I haven't heard that mentioned in quite some time. So no, it has nothing to do with that. But but it got a lot of different kinds of music. And like I said, I will definitely invite both of you when we have a reading.
All right. Looking
we
forward to it.
We can't wait. All right. It's time.
I'll send a limo to Philadelphia and bring you up to the city.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Really? Well, I like it already.
Exactly.
I think this is the best musical.
Exactly.
All right. Let's get into what everybody has come for, and that is 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin.
That's the key. Like, you'd be surprised what a person can do with just a sense of touch and a sense of sound.
I understand what the game is.
6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, where Vincent will attempt to get from 70s heartthrob Dervell Martin to an actor of my, and I believe, Carla, I asked you.
Yes, you did ask me a thing, and I already had my actor chosen, so you know.
Yes. It's
Okay.
the game. All right.
So in 6 movies or less. So Vincent,
Yes.
you want my actor first, or you want to start with Carla's?
I'm gonna get yours and get it out of the way, and then we'll luxuriate with Carla's.
All right. So we'll go with mine first.
What we got?
I don't have a graphic for Carla's, but I do have a graphic for mine.
Okay.
So in 6 movies or less.
6 movies or less.
Get from Dervell
Martin to
Warren Beatty.
Wow.
Warren Beatty.
Yes, Warren Beatty.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
You can't use the film that we've brought up with him already today.
Why not?
Dick Tracy.
Why not?
Oh, trying to make it a little sporting.
Oh my goodness! What else is?
Why, you don't know other Dick Warren Beatty movies?
Okay. Warren Beatty.
Can I help him a little bit?
I got it. I got it. Warren Beatty. Okay, so this is how we're gonna get to Warren Beatty.
Okay.
Dervell Martin is in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Yes.
With Sidney Poitier.
Yes.
Sidney Poitier is in A Raisin in the Sun with Louis Gossett Jr.
Ooh.
Lou Gossett Jr. is, of course, in An Officer and a Gentleman with Warren Beatty.
Warren Beatty's not in The Officer.
No, that is Richard Gere.
That's what I was thinking. It was like,
okay, let me start all over again. Warren Beatty. What is Warren Beatty?
Can I give him a hint? Like maybe throw some Warren Beatty films at him?
Throw one
Warren Beatty.
I'm going to throw Bonnie and Clyde at you.
Oh, right, because he's in that with, what's her name?
Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway. I feel like we've gone to Faye Dunaway before. And
we have.
And
Faye Dunaway was early on.
I forget how I got to Faye Dunaway.
Yeah, because there's another actor in there who gets you there. There's another act. I'm not going to give it to you.
No. I'm going to go to Faye Dunaway, but it's going to be real. It's going to be real clunky and dirty.
Okay.
It's going to be real clunky.
Well, we like it dirty.
All right. So, Dervell Martin is in what I want to, because I'm going to get right to it. Dervell Martin, let's just say he's in The Final Come Down.
Okay.
With Billy D. Williams, who is in, let's say, Bingo Long and his Traveling All-Stars with Richard Pryor, who's in Superman 3 with Christopher Reeve, who's in Superman with Mark, I forget his last name, but the kid who plays Jimmy Olsen.
Oh,
Mark.
I know who you're talking about. Hold on.
Because Mark Maron is in my head, but of course that's wrong.
Mark McClure.
Mark McClure, who's in Supergirl with Faye Dunaway, who's in Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty.
All right.
Very good. Very good.
Good hint.
Yeah.
You gave
me a good hint, Carla.
You gave him a great hint, but you went to the harder actor.
I know. Who was easier?
Gene Hackman.
You know what? I thought Gene Hackman was in there, but I wasn't sure.
And when we were going Superman, I thought you were going to go to
Gene Hackman. I went right past Gene Hackman.
You just went all the way to Supergirl.
Yeah. I was shook because of that Richard Gere Warren Beatty thing.
Well,
it shook me.
It's fine.
All right.
We found your blind spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Who you got, Carla?
Well, I perhaps this is too easy. I was going to say Idris Elba.
Oh, Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. So from Dervell Martin to Idris Elba.
To Idris.
6 movies or
in
less.
6 movies or less. You know what? let's have some fun in honor of our guest.
Okay.
D'Urville Martin is in Sheba Baby with Pam Grier.
Mm-hmm.
Pam Grier is in our featured film this evening, Friday Foster, with, is it David Bryan who plays the senator?
No, that's not David.
What's
Bryan.
his name?
That is Paul.
He was in the Five Heartbeats. I forget his name. He played Choir Boy's dad.
Yep. That's right.
Hold on.
Look it up.
Hold on. Paul Benjamin.
Paul Benjamin.
Got it.
Paul Benjamin is in.
Paul Benjamin.
Is in the Five Heartbeats with Carla Brothers. Although it didn't make it to the screen, in our heart, it actually happened. Carla Brothers was in Glory with Denzel Washington, who was an American Gangster with Idris Elba.
You did it. Oh my goodness. That's great. Wonderful.
Very good.
There you go.
I'm glad I was going. The other choice was maybe that would be too easy. So I said maybe I'll say Sir Lawrence Olivier, and I said no. What? You can't.
No, we actually did Lawrence Olivier.
I was about to say we got to him. Yeah, that's
that was fabulous. I mean, you all that was very good, very nice. I have to give you your props for that. Very nice.
If we could make some money off of it, we'd make some money off of it.
But you can, you could just ask everybody to place their bets whether you're going to win or lose.
Yeah, because I think Farrell Blackwell be placing bets in the chat, and I think he's making some dough. I'm seeing people.
What if there was a 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin black market that we didn't know about?
That we didn't know about. People
just didn't know about it.
Yeah, make people making money off of it.
All right.
Oh gosh.
I see people handing out their PayPal accounts.
Right.
Well, I have to say I'm very impressed. I mean, really, that was quite amazing. Really, very, very good.
Very good.
Yes.
Deborah Battle is actually pointing out that he should have said Estelle Parsons in The Watermelon Man with Miss Martin. She is in Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty. Oh, that's right. It tells Estelle Parsons.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Estelle
Thank
Parsons,
you, Deborah.
She turns up everywhere.
She does. She does.
Because for the longest time, she was a kind of like recurring character on the old Roseanne TV show.
Yes.
And I said, I know her from something. And I couldn't remember where I knew her from. And it wasn't until the show was off that I remembered that I remembered her from, Bonnie and Clyde.
I'll say lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good, Deborah.
All right.
Very good. And very good for you, Carla. Very good. Very good, Vincent.
Very good all around.
Hey, that was fun.
Well done. All right. All right. It is time for us to get into our review.
Hey, Friday Foster.
A Friday Foster. But before we get into that, and we're going to go pretty much right into it.
Yeah.
But this is the part of the show that is called Trailer Talk.
So we don't get a cease and desist.
Where we talk about whatever we want to, Carla, because this part is going to be cut out of the main podcast that airs tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So we can say whatever the hell we want.
Yes.
Just have fun.
Yes.
But we've gone a little long, so we're just going to go straight
into it, and everything that we want to say to you, we want everyone to hear it.
Definitely. So,
I'm all set.
Friday Foster. At a Los Angeles airport, magazine photographer Friday Foster witnesses an assassination attempt against billionaire Blake Tarr and is drawn into a murky political conspiracy. Friday Foster, an American blaxploitation film written and directed by Arthur Marks, starring Pam Grier with Yaphet Kotto, Eartha Kitt, Scatman Crothers, Godfrey Cambridge, and Carl Weathers. This film was the selection of our very special guest, Carla Brothers, for tonight's 1975 stop on The Show Mission. Carla, what say you of Friday Foster?
Well, as I was saying previously, it was, I had to put on my 1975 glasses and, you know, understand it in terms of the context. Because when you look at it from 2022, there's some things that were sort of like, oh, that's, you know, um, I think, like I said, well, first of all, what I love, the music was fabulous. I mean, it's just like, even her little theme song that came out and stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like um I thought what got me was sort of like the twists and turns in it. I didn't expect them. It
Mhm.
seemed like it was pretty like, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, did that just happen? Like, how did what happened there? And so that kind of kept me on my toes, like about three-quarters of the film. And like I said, I think that it's revelatory in the context of the time that it came out. If there's a woman that's doing, I call them superhero movies because they were. I mean, they're women that are doing extraordinary things, solving mysteries, murder mysteries, and all that kind of stuff. No,
Mhm.
it's not like Wonder Woman, but in a way it kind of is.
Most definitely.
Um,
In more ways than one.
Exactly. So from that perspective, and it's interesting too, because when like I said, her boss just says, just take your sweet behind over there and do your thing, or blah 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 blah. And I was like, ooh. But then it's like she doesn't take it in and internalize it, but she does do. I mean, like the woman's jumping into like not ice cream, milk trucks, and I'm like, damn, everybody's like, just like running. Like, I see a vehicle there. I think I'll just drive. Doesn't matter who it belongs to. I'm going to get in the car and take it because I need to get, And I guess the thing was really interesting to me was that, I was like, uh, you know, don't let him get away. And I'm like, and at that point, I'm thinking Yaphet Kotto doesn't have a gun. I'm like
I
thinking, just
know.
run after him. I'm going to beat you up. It's like, but then mysteriously, one manifests and, he ends up having, I love the fact that he punches like, Mr. Weathers until he succumbs. But it was I guess the part that I thought was interesting is when she first goes after Carl Weathers in the warehouse.
Mhm.
And I think that's when she takes the first vehicle and ends up there. Oh, the ambulance. No, not the ambulance,
No,
the
the
hearse.
hurts. The
The
hurts
hearse.
from the funeral.
Exactly. And so, she goes in there and I'm thinking, this woman does not have any weaponry. All she has is her
Mhm.
camera and she's holding her camera like it's a weapon. And it was just like, it was a great metaphor. It's like, I'm a photographer. It's like, don't mess with me. And I'm thinking, wow. I mean, they don't give her any, thing. She doesn't have any special skills in terms of her fighting or anything like that. She has no karate or anything like. So that was, kind of like a little, not believable or whatever. But, I had to, give her props, the character Friday, for her gumption,
Mhm.
and,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but, it's like, and, and then it's like at the end, I love, the two of these guys, it's like, they're talking and it's like all of a sudden they're like talking sweet things. Next thing, they're in the hot tub together, it's like, wow, okay.
Things move fast in the 70s.
I'm telling you. And then it was great because it was like at the end, and Yaphet Kotto, I think he was just superb the whole film. And there's Ted Lang, there's just wonderful, work. But his work was just kind of like I never really saw him being comedic before, and there was this nice little where he actually is like the Gal Friday kind of to
Exactly.
he's the Robin to Batman kind of thing. So from
Mhm.
that perspective, it was very like really
Progressive.
progressive in that
Mhm.
respect. Again, had it been written by a woman, which that wasn't happening in black exploitation films at that time, but it probably would have been a little more nuanced in terms of the character and and given her a little more depth. But I totally got the fact that, I mean, at the end she says, just got all these gifts I've got, and he's like, I only have this little thing for you. And obviously he likes her a lot. And she said, you'll always be my guy. And, it's kind of sweet. He's
Mhm.
like, it's like, it's not like a romantic kind of thing, but they'll always be buddies no matter what. And that was real
Right.
sweet.
Right.
That was
Right.
really sweet. And, I thought that she did some really nice work. It's like, I'm trying to think like one of my favorite scenes. Uh, I think, I think when she was like kind of like, chasing the guy and like, asking, like trying to find out what was going on, or when her friends kept dying around her. That was a little bit, it was a little disconcerting. Like, I think the normal person would just say, wow, this is getting a little too dangerous. I don't know, when she's watching people like shooting themselves, she's taking pictures, going like, It's like kind of like photographers that are in combat, it's like, I don't know, for me personally, I think I'd be like, okay, I'm sorry, CNN, I got to bow out here because I want to live.
Yeah. I see that.
Click. And I'm like, wait a minute. First, in those 70s films, it's like those gunshots are loud. It's not like, it's like boom, boom, boom. Like,
Right.
But it's, it's like.
Well, the one aspect of the movie that I don't think it drums home, and if you follow the comic strip upon which the film is based, you maybe know this or maybe you don't, because you don't really clue in on it. The comic strip, which was created and written by Jim Lawrence and illustrated by Jorge Lagarn,
1970, right?
Right, 1970s comic strip of the same name, Friday Foster. The character Friday Foster is actually the photographer's assistant in the comic strip. Right. So she actually is the person kind of like holding the camera bags and stuff like that. And then she kind of like gets pulled into the action in the comic strips. Even though if you've read them, and I think both of us actually have the collection.
I don't have the collection. It's sold out every time.
Oh, that's right. Every time you go.
I was about to say it's a sore spot with me.
I'm sorry. Well, I have the collection.
Yes, I know you have it.
Sorry.
Well, I don't have it, so I'm listening and gleaning.
Yes, tell us, Lynn.
Well, to educate me.
If you read it, she definitely is kind of like the star of the comic strip, but the actual photographer, who is the white character, he actually gets in a little bit of the action as well. For the movie, they dial back his character. You see him introduced in here, but he really is like, he can't be reached.
Right.
So that's why the editor of Glance Magazine says, well, Friday, I need you to go to take the pictures, which then makes sense to your point, Carla, of why she's going to take her shot. This is her shot, right. So yeah, I'm going to stick in here and I see, oh my God, there's an assassination attempt going on. I'm going to stay here and take the pictures because one, I think I'm in relative safety. Nobody knows I'm here. So it's not like she's standing in the midst of the fray. And this is her shot. This is her opportunity.
Absolutely.
This is her Peter Parker moment,
Right.
as it were.
Right.
So that I was absolutely fine with. And then them playing her up as then seeing that she is really like the brains of the operation, that kind of like plays in line with the comic strip a little bit. And so you're going to build it up because you do have this star of the moment, Pam Grier, in a vehicle that is a movie first, but the writer and creator of the movie, Arthur Marks, he also envisions this as a TV series.
Right. And you can 100% tell.
And you can tell it. You can tell it from the way the movie even opens.
Yeah.
That this almost plays like a TV pilot.
That's right. That's right.
That's exactly what I put in my notes.
Except that, you've got bigger name stars because Yaphet Kotto, Godfrey Cambridge, Eartha Kitt, and Thomas Rasala, who we didn't even mention.
Right.
They are definitely movie stars in black cinema. If nowhere else at that time. You know what I mean? So you've got them in what ostensibly is a TV pilot.
It 100% looks like this was the blueprint,
right,
for a continuing series of to go. We were talking about the Sandman earlier. I know Neil Gaiman calls it an idea generator. Like this very much is an idea generator that you can see.
Yeah, you see them building up the whole world with
Ted Lang.
With Ted Lang,
as the pimp with the heart of gold.
The pimp with the heart of gold that just wants to get Friday into his flock.
Right.
Right. Her kid brother, who's a little bit of a hustler. Even the Yaphet Kotto Guy Friday. Kind of role. Which to you pointed out, Carla. Like we talked about Yaphet Kotto and the Monkey Hustle, and I know you love the Monkey Hustle.
I do love the Monkey Hustle.
I don't got a lot of time for Monkey Hustle. I got time for Yaphet Kotto in this movie.
Yeah.
Because
Oh
Yaphet
yeah,
Kotto,
he was wonderful. He
he's
was
wonderful.
exceptional.
He's a delight in this film, and
Yes.
you could see him trying to build a rapport with Pam Grier, Friday Foster in the film. So I like him. I like everybody. You do get the feeling, I don't know about y'all, but you do get the feeling between Yaphet Kotto, Ted Lang, Thomas Rosala, Paul Benjamin, even Godfrey Cambridge, even though he's playing a gay club owner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting. Look, think about it for a minute. He goes over the top in that scene, but then when you see him on the phone, you know,
Yeah, totally different.
You see that,
Right.
then I got, oh, he was performing for them.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, oh my darling, you know, that kind of thing. So you get a sense, of course, he gets smashed, you know, to smithereens after that. But you know, you could really see that he was making choices as the actor to take it over the top. You know, so, yeah, that was sort of like, wow. There's no
Godfrey Cambridge gets smashed in a phone booth. I must have watched that scene 3 times.
It's pretty hilarious.
I laughed at that scene so hard. I'm sorry. But
you know, when he looks just like, it's like, oh my, okay, bye. And then it's like,
yeah.
what's going on here?
And then it literally was like a cut to a scene from Benny Hill, where you can see it's the dummy in the phone booth, but you don't care
because it's flattened. Yeah.
Right. But
it would have been great if somebody had taken his body and shook it out like the cartoons and just like,
yeah, exactly. But you do get, I almost got the sense that all of them like flipped the coin for who's going to get the hot tub scene with Pam Grier in this movie, right? And you see Paul Benjamin, it's like, well, at least I get the kiss scene, right? But Yaphet Kotto, for the rest of the film, he's got a smile on his face, but deep down, you know he's sad.
I mean,
because he lost the coin
flip.
Look,
man.
Hey, you know, maybe they had a relationship post movie. You know,
no, because at this time, which is another thing that I couldn't take my mind off of. At the time of this film, Pam Grier is in a very significant relationship with Richard Pryor.
That's right.
Richard Pryor.
Oh yeah.
The comedian Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
And I mean significant to the point where she is at that time like trying very hard to get him to fly straight and divulge himself of like the demons that he had. You know? So I couldn't help but laugh at that a little bit during this film.
There was a lot of gratuitous,
but you know what,
revealing of women's, you know, top parts there.
True.
I mean, it was gratuitous; it wasn't necessary.
No, it wasn't.
Right.
But again, it's, and they did, you know, I guess in the hot tub, or was it the bed? I guess in the hot tub they showed, you know.
Well, she showed it a couple of times.
Right. But, I mean, there was a lot of, you know, a lot of bosom, and I guess, you know, that's really about. They knew people wanted to come and, you know, guys would come and see the film because of that. You know,
that's what's going to get the butts in the seat.
I mean, like you said, at this point, this is her fifth American international film, and that's her last, one, right? This is the last one on her contract, and unfortunately, there was always that part of seeing a Pam Grier film,
right?
Yeah,
but I have to say, of the films, I think this is the first time I've actually seen this unedited, frankly.
Okay.
Because I've seen Friday Foster on television, and obviously those scenes have been edited out. But you can see how they could very easily be edited out. Yeah. Like, I think of the Pam Grier filmography from this period, something you said, Carl, I think there's something very sweet about this film. And this character that Pam Grier plays. Like, I love the fact that she's not Foxy Brown.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know karate. And she's a journalist. She's a reporter. So, you know, she's very smart. You know, she's very ambitious, you know, very brave. But this is not, you know, Coffee going undercover with an afro, kicking ass and taking names. And it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked Pam Grier's costumes. Like, she actually was dressed like I remember 70s career women were dressed, like a lot of gazpachos and
Right.
pantsuits and boots and scarves. Like, I feel like my mother had a lot of these outfits in the 70s.
Well, I'm telling you right now, my girlfriend was watching the film and she was like, I want that scarf. I want that Yves Saint Laurent scarf.
Yeah. So I liked it. I actually liked it a lot. It did have that TV pilot feel. And I almost wish they would have leaned into this as a series, like as a film series. Like,
so wish they followed
right, like I could have seen
right.
3 more movies with this cast and these characters. So,
yeah, most definitely.
That's interesting, because when I found out that it was, they were considering it being a television series, when I looked at the ending and it was just like ... I mean, it wasn't conclusive. That was like, none of the protagonists that were going to continue on died. I got kind of worried when I saw the kid brother there. I thought that guy was Carl Weathers was going to, do something, but so that was an indication to me that, towards the end, it was like everything, there's a continuance right here. They set it up for that. And it would be interesting to find out what happened, why it didn't happen, but maybe it was just a little too much. They were afraid that, at that time in the 70s, I'm sure there was a lot of censorship in television. And maybe because she was, a sex symbol, so to speak. But then, there was like, what's her Carter, and, she had on the, the Miss, the very tight Wonder Woman outfit and stuff. So, but I was thinking about when I was, I hope I didn't interrupt you. Did I interrupt you?
No.
But I took some notes as I was watching, and I was thinking about Charlie's Angels, and in a way, the Glance editor is, not that they're just comparatively, Charlie, you never get to see him; he's just a voice on the phone. But it's a man who's basically, telling these women, like what their assignment is and that kind of thing too. So I think that was acceptable at that time. I don't think there was anything on television where women were sort of in control if they were playing detectives or anything like that, or, any type of investigative work. There was definitely always a man that was in charge and sort of giving directions. So, so that's why, it's always like you look at something in terms of what was, happening. So in terms of the whole feminism, feminist movement, I think probably the writer director probably felt like, wow, she's pretty out there. She's not home baking cakes and having kids and stuff. She's out there, with a career. And so, it's always helpful to look at something from the perspective of being there at the time and understanding what the societal norms were, because it's easy to project onto like, well, looking at it from 2022 after the Me Too movement and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And again, just to reference her other work, I think some of her other films don't age as well as this does.
Yeah.
Frankly, I mean, when you think about the scenes, you think about the nudity, you think about the love scenes. I mean, they're actual love scenes. Like, I love the fact that the senator and the billionaire are actually still trying to woo her at the end.
Exactly.
You know, like, it's actually kind of romantic, and you unfortunately don't see that in a lot of these films. We talked about the Candy Tangerine Man that we reviewed last week, and it's rough. It's rough watching a lot of these films with a 2022 lens. So I was pleasantly surprised.
You also don't see the level of craft on display in this film as opposed to the other films. And we touched on the acting, but I just want to touch on just the fact, like, you could definitely see there's quite a bit more of a budget to this movie.
Well, we talked about the costumes.
Well, we talk about the costume. I'm not even talking about the costume. I'm talking about, look,
car chases and
There's multiple
things
car
blowing
chases.
up and-
There's a car that gets glanced by another car and blows up.
That's
Why?
right, yeah.
Because we pay for this car to
we
blow
paid
up.
for this car to blow
This
up.
car
That's
is going
right.
to blow up. There is a 2-minute scene of a helicopter landing on a building. Why?
Right.
Because we pay for this helicopter.
For
And you know
Thomas
what?
Rosella to climb out of.
And you know what? It's going to, if it takes 2 minutes to film it landing on this building, we're going to take those 2 minutes. What? We still got more time with the helicopter. Then write that helicopter into the end of the movie. I once see it. I don't see the helicopter at the end of the movie.
Right.
The helicopter ain't doing nothing at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But there's helicopters at the end of the
We
movie.
rented it for the whole day.
Because we rented the helicopter
Yeah.
for the day. We got the day for the helicopter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shoot, we're gonna use this helicopter.
Oh yeah.
What? So you want Yves Saint Laurent scarves? I want a helicopter, and they made it happen.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that.
I also want to circle back to something that Carla said about her chasing Carl Weathers. She chased Carl Weathers, and then Yaphet Kotto was chasing Carl Weathers. And I actually wrote in my notes, what does Yaphet Kotto think is going to happen if he catches Carl Weathers?
Exactly.
But that's what I was thinking. I mean, like he does brandish, a pistol. I don't know where it comes from. I guess he carries it. I don't know. What was his job? That's what was unclear to me. I mean, I know
Yaphet
he was
Kotto?
He was a private eye.
Well, he said he was a private detective.
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Right. As
'Cause
one was.
he used to be a cop.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. Quick aside. What was the deal with the cop with the potato chips?
With the potato chips. And he was going to be a recurring character.
He was either that.
What was his catchphrase? It was like,
I wish I had a
I
beer.
wish I had a beer.
I wish I had a beer.
Either he's going to be a recurring
Oh,
character, or if it was his job to make sure that the Ruffles bag always faced the camera.
That's right.
Because this film was sponsored by Ruffles.
It was
product
early
placement.
product placement. That's right. They were Friday Foster was ahead of its time.
He had,
you know what they were also thinking about the T-shirt, instead of like, what was that thing called about that? Like, I where's the meat? This one would have been like, I should have.
I would have had a beer.
Yeah. I mean, he had chips at the murder scene.
Yeah.
He had chips at the funeral.
Yeah.
He was at the funeral with a bag of chips.
Wishing that he had a beer. I kept waiting for somebody to put their hand on his shoulder and say, hey, man, we should probably talk about all this drinking.
Because why did he always look like he just woke up?
I know.
Yeah, he looked a little like sort of one of those moments where everything's sort of crumpled up, like he slept in his clothes a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were trying. What's his name? The I can't think of his name. He's a private eye. The one Columbo.
Oh,
Columbo?
yeah.
Yeah. It's always like, well, it just looks like you just kind of rolled out of bed. Maybe that was their
This dude made Columbo look like James Bond.
Yeah.
Like this guy, his shirt wasn't buttoned right.
Yeah. He was real rough looking.
He was real,
But again, he's part of the cast of characters.
he was part of the cast. He's like, I can do the series.
Yeah.
Y'all can't get Yaphet. I can do the
I
series.
can do the series.
So there you go. So that was taking me out. But okay, I love her.
Yes.
What was Eartha Kitt doing in this movie?
I have no idea.
What was
She got her little like trademark. Yeah, she got that in there too, twice.
I have no idea. You know what? Eartha Kitt may have liked the comic strip. She may have been a fan of the comic strip.
Was that it?
I have no idea how Eartha Kitt ended up in this movie.
I don't know what she was doing in the movie.
I mean, she was the head
of the fashion. She was the head of the fashion line.
And then she took 2 hours to die. Friday, go and get a pencil.
Go get a pencil.
Write down what I'm going to say to you. I'll wait for you to pull it out of my drawer. Like, I was
There's a sharpener on the other side of the door.
I was like, Friday, you should probably call an ambulance or something. Like it took her a half hour to die.
Yeah, that is strange. And the other one was somebody else, and she said, "Isn't anybody going to get an ambulance?" You know.
Oh, when a girlfriend gets stabbed.
Right,
Right.
right.
A girlfriend gets stabbed, and
I'm sorry, but that was really cold when she talked to her on the face. I'm sorry, I can't talk to you. But I'm having a really hard time. Would you please come over? She says, I can't. I got this assignment.
I'm at work.
She's like, okay. Then she's like, well, don't bother coming over. Then she shows up and says, I told you not to come.
well, okay, it was cold, but I did get the feeling that this wasn't her. I think her girlfriend's name was Clarice or Cloris or something like that.
Right.
This was her first time like calling
Yeah.
Friday. And so Friday she's a bit of a drama queen.
Right.
So she's like, I'll be there as soon as I can. I just got this big break. I gotta, I've been there.
I mean, I don't know, because she dates gangsters and senators. Like she has, I mean, that's what Friday said. She said she has some heavies as boyfriends.
That's true.
I was like, well, Friday, maybe if she's asking for help, you should check on her.
Well, to her credit, the second she was done, Friday did call her.
The second she was finished. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Well, she said she was going to call her when she was done.
She showed up. She showed up at the fashion show.
Yeah, that's right.
But I have to comment on the fashion show. That was interesting.
Say it with your chest, Carla.
The face was here, but it wasn't like striking like me. Well, the one at the end was kind of, but most was just like, was sort of like somebody was giving them direction. They were trying to figure out what am I supposed to do? It's like, okay, look over here, look over there. But it was just, I don't know. It was like,
they were kind of like
mannequins. It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was,
and one of the models walked like Denzel Washington. Like, I don't know what made her think that was sexy.
Right.
But she was literally.
Nobody helped them. It was just
know.
go over there and be cute, you know. They kind of
Right.
like they seemed very self-conscious and like, I hope this is okay. And they really should have just hired models. I mean, because they're Beverly Johnson. They could have given her some props back then, or who else?
Anyone else?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
there's
you
a
said,
lot
the
of
actual models.
Yeah, that was the thing. But
now I kept expecting, because
the setup was such. It was like what men think about it, and then women. Every women think about it every minute.
Right.
That's what the kids said. So I was expecting like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's what but I also was expecting that, okay, somehow they're going to wrangle Friday into the fashion.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Which they didn't.
But she doesn't walk the runway. She's not in the fashion show.
I know, but I kind of like I like.
Oh, you say wish they didn't.
I like how Pam Grier isn't as
in the fashion show.
Way.
But do you notice that the last girl who's the model sort of is of the motif of like you know what I'm saying? She's got the fro, she's got the, large bosom, the very tapered, so she's like she could be stand-in for Pam Grier, so it's almost like a commentary on, we don't have her doing this, but, we'll give you, Tasha here, and
right.
and stuff. So
she almost could have been her stunt woman, but we know that she didn't have a stunt woman. Pam Grier had a stunt man.
Yeah.
In a wig in this movie.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because I remember when I was looking at the car scene one point, it looked like it was a man.
It was definitely a dude in a wig. But, hey, it's what they do. It's what they do. At the end of the day, is there anything else that you wanted to share about what did you think of the soundtrack?
I like the
soundtrack.
Yeah, I thought it was breezy. I thought it was jazzy. I thought it seemed like a good soundtrack for the tone of the film.
Right.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah,
there's a lot to like about this movie. I do have to say, I got to be fair. I'm a Pam Grier fan, but seeing her in this film against, and probably for the first time against better actors that she's acted against in her other films, or the majority of her films, I think she doesn't 100% hold her own. Like, I do think, like, in the scenes with Yaphet Kotto, he's doing a little bit more of the heavy lifting, and thus because of that, he maybe is pushing a little bit. She definitely has a presence, and she definitely, I'm not knocking her, but I also think one of the reasons why Pam Grier, the actress, is so phenomenal in Jackie Brown is because Pam Grier, the actress, has grown.
Oh yes,
that
Right.
point. And in Jackie
Right.
Brown, you almost get the sense that all the characters she's playing in the 70s, she's kind of like getting an opportunity, yes, at a different stage of life, but kind of like to do a do-over for them.
Well, what I got from her acting is that this is the first one of those films where she gets to act. Like in a lot of ways, I wish this was her first film.
Well, I thought it's a little bit of an opportunity in Sheba Baby. I just don't think it's that great of a film.
Yeah, I don't think this. I think the script in Sheba Baby is paper thin.
No,
And-
the script is paper
no.
thin.
I'm sorry, but as far as her acting, I think she has moments in Coffee.
Okay,
But I think Sheba Baby, Coffee,
Foxy Brown
are so interested in sexy Pam Grier
Mhm.
that they're just trying to get through the lines
Okay,
to get her in something with.
gratuitous sex scenes.
And like Friday Foster is an actual character,
Mhm.
which is what I enjoyed so much. But I agree with you. I just felt like this is one of the first opportunities she had to exercise those muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, she's good. I in certain scenes, like I like her against Paul Benjamin in their scene. I think she's good there. I actually like when she finally does a scene with Ted Lang.
Yeah.
Because they kind of like joke at it a couple of times, but she finally does do a scene against them. I think they work, pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
I would have actually. The shame of it is like that this doesn't become a series. Because this doesn't become a series, he then gets Isaac on the Love Boat.
I know.
I would have much rather see him here in Friday Foster, the TV series, than in kind of like sidelined as he is. Ultimately is in the Love Boat. That's the shame.
Yeah. I want to just touch back on what you were saying before, in that I felt that too. When I saw Jackie Brown, I was like, man, this is just like, I'm gonna bring it. And she brings it. It's just like, oh yeah, I can act. And and she and then she does her thing. She's a phenomenal talent. It just, it's like people evolve, like we all evolve, and she is an incredible talent. And you just like that opening scene in Jackie Brown where she's on the at the airport. Just like, see, it's just like her expression. So really wonderful work.
So we like to ask people, our guests and everyone here, the magic question. Carla,
magic question too.
Would you recommend that people watch Friday Foster?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's like, the premise of the mission is to embrace all of Black cinema. So in so doing, again, it's like if you can go into something and understand what the context is, you can really appreciate it for being groundbreaking at that particular time. You know what I'm saying? And so I think from that perspective, if you're going to compare it to like, gee, I wish it was more like this or more like that, but if you look at something for what it was in terms of where it fit in the historical, the year, what was happening, like I said, socially, politically, all of that, then it's amazing because you can really understand so much. Television, film, and theater, except everybody doesn't get to see theater, doesn't have the same, not able to kind of get exposure to as many people as possible. But it's always like a time capsule. You look back at a film, it's some type of commentary on what society is at that time. So yeah, I think it's has a lot of value, and there's a lot to learn from it, from that perspective.
Definitely. What about you, Vincent?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as I've been saying within the context of the Pam Grier films from this period, it is a really pleasant departure and a nice contrast, and it shows Pam Grier stretching a little bit. But I think just on its own, this is a neat little movie. I love the cast. The cast is filled with some of our favorites. We haven't mentioned Julius Harris, who we love as the editor, as the grumpy editor type.
We didn't even mention Mr. Thurston Howell III, Jim Backus,
who shows up for one scene. But
yes.
But I enjoyed this a lot. Yeah, I absolutely would recommend this. And you?
Well, it's 3 for 3. I would recommend seeing Friday Foster. I think it's a fun film. I actually I actually appreciate that it goes out of its way to have like a little bit different of a plot, it's not
there's those zingers that come, you're like, whoa, I didn't go there.
and it's a little deeper, the commentary about what we need to actually uplift our culture and Black people is that you need the politicians actually working with us and rich people working together, and this movie is somebody trying to set them up against one another. So which is something totally more plot than you would see in a lot of these the films of this era.
Absolutely.
So but it's certainly also indicative of a comic strip. Comic strip is plot heavy. So I dug it, and I actually, say what I will, I enjoyed Pam Grier, I enjoyed the cast, I enjoyed everything about it. I would have returned for another film. I would have returned for a series. I don't think it's too late to return to this character.
I think
that's an interesting premise. Sure.
Yeah.
To be a series now.
I would definitely recommend Friday Foster. Check it out.
All right.
Right.
Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, this, I don't know about you, Vincent, but this has been one hell of a show.
Absolutely.
I've had such a good time.
Yes.
This has been fun. Carla Brothers, thank you so very much.
We appreciate it so much.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for asking me. It was a pleasure, and it was really wonderful. I mean, you guys it's like an action-packed show. It's like really great. It's like, what are we going to do now? It's like, yeah, I love it.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We look forward to your next visit on the Michelle Mission. So feel free to, we kind of like stuck you with the 70s. Now you can just pick a film that you want. Just choose whatever you want. And we'll sit down and review, talk shop. We'll just, we can't wait, just like Farrell Blackwell, we can't wait to see the Cop Rock reboot, whatever musical the musical you've got planned. We can't wait.
Looking forward to it.
We cannot wait.
All right. Well,
all right.
I'm now motivating to hurry up and get it done. So preview it on your show.
All right. Absolutely.
And if people want to get in contact with you, is there any way that people can reach out and just
gee whiz, I didn't think about that. Huh? I guess oh god.
You're on the socials.
I don't remember. I'm on Instagram, but you could just look me up on Instagram. I think it's Carla Brothers Artist on Instagram.
Carla Brothers Artist on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. Check her out. Carla, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, audience. You've been great. Your audience is like, man, they're just like so knowledgeable.
Yeah, see, Maddie Gutierrez.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
They want you back.
Yes.
They want you back.
So she's back, Black, better than ever.
All right. There you go. Lynn, we've got the advertising already.
We got it already. we got to get Nisa Ray on the poster and make it happen. Thank you so much, Carla. We're gonna let you go while we close out the show, but thank you so much, very much.
All right. You take care, gentlemen.
Right. Night.
See you soon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Before we tell you what we're going to be watching next week with another special guest, Vincent, we got another special guest next week.
Yeah.
I invite you all to check out the Michaud Mission Two Men, One Podcast, every Black film ever made. Go to MichaudMission.com where you can hit swag and check out all the cool designs that we have available for you by way of our good friends at TeePublic. If you want to email us at MichaudMission@gmail.com. That's MichaudMission@gmail.com. You can also leave us a voicemail. Let us know what you thought about tonight's show. Let us know your thoughts and how great Carla was on the show. You can leave us a voicemail at 215-867-9666. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Michaud Mission. Subscribe on YouTube and Twitch at the Michaud Mission. And wherever you check out our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating and review, especially if it's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because that helps people find our show. And the Michaud Mission is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work. Next week, Vincent.
Yes, sir.
We're staying in 1975.
All right.
And we have a very special guest, the screenwriter of Ruby Bridges.
Yes.
And Crown Heights.
Yes.
Tony Ann Johnson
yes.
will be joining us for our review of Aaron Loves Angela.
Aaron Loves Angela.
Now, I've never seen this film, but I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, because Michael Schultz.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
I believe there's another Michael Schultz film. So
yeah.
it's a quality piece of work.
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
Looking forward to that. That was Tony's selection for this stop on the mission. We can't wait to talk Aaron Loves Angela with her next week.
Yes,
here on the mission. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, he's Vincent and I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.